Tonight on The Real Review.
Uma Thurman is a glutton for punishment in Quentin Tarantino's explosive finale, Kill Bill Volume 2.
White-collar crime goes badly awry in the mischievous murder mystery, Skin Deep.
A classic overachiever takes a walk on the wild side in The Girl Next Door.
Lars von Trier explores the dark side of American humanity in the controversial Dogville.
Hi, I'm Tim Sika.
And I'm Jeanne Aufmuth.
Sound the trumpets, it's The Real Review.
Having made quick work of Copperhead and O-Ren Ishii in Kill Bill Volume 1, renegade killer Beatrix Kiddo, a.k.a. The Bride, sets her sights on Trailer Trashy Bud and the venomous Elle Driver, the remaining members of Bill's deadly Viper assassination squad. Flashbacks detail Beatrix's painful assassin training under the tutelage of Master Pai Mei and the sanguineous Chapel Blues that were the final act of her attempt to leave a life of bloodshed behind her. Beatrix wields her martial arts with slick and sinister aplomb, swaddled in the security of her thirst for revenge and fanatically pursuing her goal, to kill Bill. Uma Thurman and David Carradine star in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill Volume 2.
我要睇下你嘅武功有幾深。出招。如果我輸俾你嘅話，我今日鬼就拜你為師。 你睇到我功夫啊，試我腳法啊！你個劍術只係屬一般業餘嘅水平。殘廢比你強，再嚟啊！廢物。
That's a great cinematic sequence. It's interesting. I feel kind of especially qualified to talk about this movie because I haven't seen the first one.
I know.
Before I had seen it,
I know.
This movie seemed complete in itself. And when I left, I thought, you know, what was the point? Blah blah blah. And then I said, you know, forget it. Okay, maybe it didn't have to have a point. I liked this film. I thought it was a crackerjack movie. There were great sequences in it. David Carradine gives it an amazing performance. He's got these astounding monologue dialogues.
He was amazing.
It had the requisite Quentin Tarantino energy and verve and masterful cinematic approach. It was good.
Oh, I liked it quite a bit better than it's a completely different movie than the first. The first was very action-adventurous-ish and all, you know, had the anime and all kinds of little...
It really was just all action violence.
Yeah, action and
This
sword
actually
play.
Had some character.
This was very character-driven, and it's the same idea. It's the same concept. She's working her way through all the assassins who were sent to kill her because she broke Bill's heart. What does he say in the movie? It's not. It's silly to break a killer's heart, or it's not the smart thing to do. But in this case,
a bastard's heart.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. There's consequences to breaking a bastard's
there
heart.
There you go. But as you know, you were sitting with me at the screening, and so you know there were the fight scenes are incredible, and they're all over the map. But the one in the coffin, buried alive, a la The Vanishing. Whew, I was this close to a faint.
I know you were ready to walk out.
Yeah, it was really hard, and so there were a lot of hard moments in this movie. It's very violent, as was Volume 1.
What's amazing about that scene that you mentioned, too, that I really liked, it almost seemed like it was Tarantino's sort of like slap in the face to some of the critics that say all he can do is like pointless violence, because that scene... It was bare minimal visuals and sound, and it was one of the most powerful cinematic sequences
of the year,
of
the decade,
in movies.
Yeah.
Terrific. The other thing, David Carradine too. I think it's one of his best performances.
Is his best performance probably ever.
There's a scene where he's making a peanut butter sandwich for a child that I told him when I talked to him, I says, every time you opened your mouth, I tensed because I thought that something really, really horrible was gonna happen.
He kind of embodies the whole essence of what the Kill Bill duo is supposed to be. You know, he's acid-tongued and he's cruel, but he's just got this veneer of smooth. Oh,
and he had great dignity too, as just a character. Uma Thurman, great energy.
Daryl Hannah was amazing.
Movie.
It's a one. I only liked the first one about 3 stars worth because I thought there was too much energy. Of course, there's all the homage to the spaghetti westerns and the chopsaki classics, but this really worked for me. This had some substance to it. I really loved it.
Wow, so how many ticket stubs?
3.5 big ticket stubs for me.
And we're in agreement. I'm giving it 3.5 ticket stubs too. In the world of Skin Deep, not all suspects are created equal. A racially charged thriller set in the affluent foothills of Silicon Valley, Skin Deep takes place over the course of a day as Anthony, Victoria, Michael, and his wife Sarah spend the afternoon dining, drinking, and soaking in the hot tub. During lunch, Michael plays his well-used race card to make Victoria uncomfortable. Despite the rise in tensions, things appear to be going quite well until one of the women is found dead in the hot tub. Events go from tragic to dangerous as racism, paranoia, and a secret mistress come into play. The result is a high-stakes mystery where nobody is completely innocent. It's amazing how one small thing can set off such an interesting chain of events. More prophetic words have never been spoken in a world where love, sex, race, and betrayal are more than skin deep.
Oh my God, this is so stupid. We just call the police, we tell them what happened, we didn't do anything, and it'll be fine.
Is that how it works for white folks?
Mike.
Why is it always a racial thing with you?
You got 2 brothers standing over a dead body. We're just lucky it wasn't you, else we'd be lynched by now.
I don't know. OJ got off all right.
Anthony!
Look, this is not helping us.
All right, I'll talk to her. I'll see what she knows. If she doesn't know anything, then we can deal with it. We'll call the cops. We'll let them know what happened. Everything will work out fine, right?
For Snow White here.
Mike.
It was a dramatic scene.
That was very dramatic. This is a really mixed bag, this movie. It is definitely a mixed bag. There were elements I liked. The story is really good and really interesting. What I didn't like so much is there were a lot of cliches that I have seen before. So on one hand, the story is working, but then a lot of the little elements are repetitious to me, a little repetitious.
That's very interesting that you say that, because I thought the strength of this picture was the fact, what other African-American urban drama have you ever seen that looked like this? I think they're going to have a tough time marketing this movie because it looks and it plays unique. I don't know if you're talking about cliches and stuff. I thought some of the sexual themes and the racial themes were a little kind of heavy-handed at times, and they seem to try to make their point in a very self-conscious way. But I thought as a plotted kind of thriller, I thought it was quite clever, and I thought it was well written.
Well, that's what I mean about the story. What you just said about the racial thing, I thought the racial thing was something I hadn't seen before. Like, there's this scene in the movie where the 2 couples, 2 black and then a black and a white, are together, and the one is trying to goad her, you know, like playing the race card. You don't see that in the movies. You just don't see that. I mean, you read it in books, you don't see it in the movies. That was a very brave move. That was a really brave move. But then, just like about I don't know, there were just elements I had seen before, and it just seemed tedious to me. That's the right word, tedious, because of the cliches. The cliches were starting to pile on cliche. But, so I was in and out, you know what I mean? I'd be drawn in, and then I'd be pulled out, drawn in and pulled out. So that's what I mean about mixed bag, kind of a mixed bag.
I think
like some of the performances, some of the actors.
Yeah, good performances.
Yeah.
Everybody has presence. So I like the ambiguity of also, again, I thought it was strong in terms of how it looked and the plotting, because I'm still not sure and still not clear exactly what happened, except that there's this murder, okay?
Yeah.
But we really don't, we don't know who did it. We don't even know why they did it.
It's
there's
implied,
hints
maybe.
Yeah, it's
hints.
implied,
Yeah.
but everybody that I talk to that has seen this movie is coming up with something different.
Which is good.
And in every case, they can justify it by all the plot elements in the movie. again, I keep mentioning the look of this movie. I love the look. I love the way it was shot. I love the way it was edited. I think the performances, we didn't see her in the clip, but Deborah Wilson is in this movie. She's known a lot of people for Mad TV. And in a rare dramatic performance. This movie also has, for me, one of the I don't know if it was meant to be funny, but I laughed my ass off at the end when she says, "Payback's a bitch, baby, and so am I." That was a scream. And that was another thing I liked about the movie. It was funny, I think, at times when maybe I don't know if it was done intentionally, but there was humor in the film, too.
Yeah.
In different ways. So
so that's why I say mixed. I mean, elements to love, elements
I thought
not
it was a very good first-time effort. Sasha
by
Paraso is the
a local
director.
filmmaker.
Yes, Sasha Paraso directed and co-wrote the script with producer Ken Karn. I'm going to give it 3.5 ticket stubs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you?
I wish I could give it 2.5, but I'm not allowed, so I'm going to give it an enthusiastic 2 ticket stubs.
All right.
All right. We will be back with 2 more films, Dogville and The Girl Next Door. Stay with us.
Now showing this week on the Media Center. Attention sports fans. The Media Center presents the premiere of West Bay Game of the Week, a regional collaboration bringing you high school and collegiate sports from the entire West Bay region. Premiering Sundays at 8 p.m. and an encore presentation Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The Media Center's News Watch brings you in-depth analysis of local news, politics, and world issues. Wednesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. on The Media Center, serving the Mid-Peninsula community.
Set on a single soundstage replete with minimal furnishings, Dogville is a claustrophobic ode to small-town living. At the core of this Depression-era Rocky Mountain mining community is Tom Edison, radical thinker and unofficial town leader. Life has not rained gifts on his township, and its struggles are evident. As Tom is taking his customary late-night stroll, he happens upon a frightened woman named Grace, who appears to be fleeing from a violent unpleasantness in a nearby town. The town votes to harbor Grace in the safety of Dogville, and, in order to allay fears that her pursuers will stoke their vengeance on the vulnerable residents, Grace sets out to do odd jobs for each family. When a local sheriff posts a reward for Grace's return, the townspeople subtly close ranks, working her to the bone and turning their backs when she needs their support the most. Nicole Kidman stars in Lars von Trier's Dogville.
I'll Liz.
Oh, hello, Tom.
Grace, how's it all going?
Not very well, I'm afraid.
Really?
No, nobody needs any help.
Well, I thought that might be the case.
His plan to make everybody like me has run into a few problems because nobody wants me to work for them. I would really like to offer something in return. You're all running a terrible risk having me here. I mean, I'm willing to learn.
There must be somebody who needs help.
No.
Mr. McKay's site is not so
Yes,
good.
I went to Mr. McKay. I went to Martha and to Chuck and Vera's, and nobody seems to need any help. They all think everyone else needs something and not themselves.
Funny, that's exactly what Tom said. I suppose he's pleased.
Well,
Just to prove him wrong, maybe you can lend a hand here.
But Ginger, there really isn't anything we need done.
perhaps there's something you don't need doing.
Anything we don't need done?
Something that you would like done, but that you don't think is necessary.
What on earth would that?
Boy, you know, this is one of the most original, inventive, and haunting films I've ever seen.
I'm so pleased.
I think this is a film, dramatically, it was tough. It took me about 40 minutes to just adapt to the rhythms of the piece because it was different.
Very
I
odd.
mean, you don't see movies that play and look like Dogville every day. But after that, I was sucked. I think this is a movie that's going to grow in stature over the years and is going to be regarded as a great film. I think it's a great film now, but I think 20, 30 years from now, there's going to be a lot more people that hated it now are going to look back and say, wow, the writing was astonishing.
Phenomenal.
I mean, the metaphors, the symbolism, the performance. Go talk. I loved it. I think I was going.
I wanted you to love it. I
was
wanted
going
you to love this
thinking
movie.
it was going to be off. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of weird things
yeah,
about this.
because
it
it's
looks like it takes place on a Monopoly board.
It's
doesn't
3
it?
hours long. Yeah. And the town is like chalked in with lines and fake doors. They're knocking at nothing. And there's a knocking sound. This is the most captivating. It's in chapters. Is it 11 chapters? 9 chapters. And
with a prologue.
Right. And by the end, and at first I thought, oh, God. And by the end, I thought, please go on. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I just want this to go on forever.
When I got to chapter 5, I thought, oh, my God, it's like half over already, and I'm still getting into it.
And you know what? It's so sinister. This is what I am left with from this. Lars von Trier has never been to America. But this is the beginning of his American trilogy, okay? There is such a sinister feeling, kind of like the Salem witch hunts, that everyone sort of turns on her subtly.
I'm not even sure I understand what it's about, but I got real specific feelings, and I have some interpretations here that I'm working on. But the movie was so rich, it's a film that you need to ponder over for days. I just saw it last night. You need to think about it, ponder over it, see it again. The other thing I thought was brilliant about this film is it was like a cinematic theatrical, which sounds like a contradiction in terms, but I have never seen a movie that was so masterfully done in that regard. And it was, even though it was stylized, some of the violence at the end was absolutely
Oh my God, did the
shattering.
end blow your mind? And the performances, unbelievable. Well, Paul Bettany deserves an Oscar.
Look at this
Nicole
cast.
Kidman.
Nicole Bettany, Nicole Kidman,
Lauren Bacall, Ben Gazzara.
John Hurt narrates.
Patricia Clarkson. No, it was Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah, no, it was phenomenal. This is top 10 material for me, without a doubt.
Yeah,
I mean, without a doubt. I mean, it's
absolutely. So, I mean, do we even need to go any further?
Four ticket stubs. I mean, hands down.
4 ticket stubs
classic.
for me too. It's going to be my hot ticket.
Yeah.
18-year-old Matthew Kidman, played by Emile Hirsch, is a straight-arrow overachiever who has never really lived life until he falls for his new neighbor, the beautiful and seemingly innocent Danielle, played by Alicia Cuthbert. When Matthew discovers that his perfect girl next door is a one-time porn star, his sheltered existence begins to spin out of control. Ultimately, Danielle helps Matthew emerge from his shell and discover that sometimes you have to risk everything for the person you love. The Girl Next Door is a comedy about opposite worlds, views, and backgrounds colliding. The film asks, how far are you willing to go for the person you love? Are you willing to risk everything? Well, you had better be willing to risk it all and experience a journey for which you never could have prepared if you want The Girl Next Door.
What are we doing?
Did you like what you saw?
Okay, I saw you for like an instant.
An instant?
Yeah. It was no big deal. No, it was a big deal, but it's just that I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You saw me.
Yeah, right, like I'm gonna strip right here. Are you serious? No. No, never gonna happen.
The whole package.
There. You happy now?
Yep. Okay. Again, this is like...
Would you have done that? Would you have...
No, I would not have done that. You know, this, again, I'm talking mixed bag here. This is so reminiscent, read ripoff, of Risky Business and Ferris Bueller's Day Off with the added addition of porn. Porn, because there's no other way to say it. I was alternately amused and repelled. You know, it just depended on the scene. I mean, this is a kid, this is a teen, this target market, this is rated R. And it's about these, you know, high schoolers, and
yeah, you wonder what it's you know what to me it's saying to kids, if you love a porn star enough, you'll not only become more sexualized, you'll get into Georgetown, and she'll be redeemed by your love. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that?
No, it's really, and the thing is, that's the message, but it's all packaged up in this fun little fantasy of, you know, the straight arrow and walking into the prom with the porn stars, and ooh, everyone's looking, ooh, they're the envy of all the jocks. You know, there are some not good messages, but I have to say, I took the target market with me to the film, and they were loving it.
I saw it with a target audience, and they liked it too.
Yeah, and it just, and I'm not saying I didn't like it, because I really did laugh at parts. I think Emile Hirsch is great.
It was tawdry, though. Didn't it make you feel uncomfortable?
It made me want to have a shower.
It creeped me out.
Yeah, no, it was tawdry past the point of tasteful and appropriate. Yeah. Especially since I have high school age children, and so I don't want to think that this is what's going on behind, you know, closed doors. But Emile Hirsch, I like the kid. He was really good in, was it the Alter Boys, Secret Life of Alter Boys? What was he in?
Secret Life of Alter Boys, he was in the Emperor's Club.
Emperor's Club, yeah.
Right.
And I think Timothy Oliphant, who plays the, like, pimp, is one of my favorite actors. I love him.
Really great performance in this movie.
And there were there were just some funny things, but there were some really not
I just don't. I don't know what the point of it was. If it was trying to say, I know it's first and foremost in entertainment, trying to work through your sexual issues first, but through porn and it just it creeped me out. It to me it felt like a frustrated middle-aged writer's wet dream fantasy.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
It was immature, it was puerile, it was ridiculous, and it was that's what it was. I was embarrassed because I could empathize with a lot of it, but I'd never put that up on the screen in some kind of package and say, look at this, young people, and look what you could have. I wouldn't want to walk out of the house.
And then he ends up going to Georgetown because he makes the money in a, you know, instead of getting the scholarship because he's on ecstasy that the pimp slipped him, he gets in another way. Yeah, no. You know, I have to say, I have two reactions to this. When I left the theater, my reaction was more upbeat. Over time, in the last week, I have started to be slimed and disapproving. So I'm giving it 2 ticket stubs, because I maybe came out as a 3, but I've dropped down to a 2.
I'm giving it 2 ticket stubs too because of Emile Hirsch, who I thought I think he has a future as an actor.
Yeah,
he's great. He was refreshing.
Yeah, he was.
All right, so we will be right back with this week's wrap up.
Showing this week on the Media Center. Attention sports fans. The Media Center presents the premiere of West Bay Game of the Week, a regional collaboration bringing you high school and collegiate sports from the entire West Bay region. Premiering Sundays at 8 p.m. and an encore presentation Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The Media Center's News Watch brings you in-depth analysis of local news, politics, and world issues. Wednesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. on the Media Center, serving the Mid-Peninsula community.
For relatively good films, for mild agreements, which means it's time to wrap it up. Kill Bill Volume 2. Both Tim and I really appreciate Quentin Tarantino's original sense of humor and his technique. It's 3.5 ticket stubs from me and 3.5 from Tim.
Skin Deep. I found it to be a clever, well-acted, and unique urban drama. Jeanne sort of agreed. She thought it was a little cliched. 3.5 ticket stubs from me and 2 from her.
Dogville. It's inventive, it's a little arrogant, it's compelling. Definitely best of the year material for both of us and both of our hot tickets.
The Girl Next Door. Boy, was this an uncomfortable, unpleasant sex comedy that aimed high but didn't hit any of its marks. And even the good performance by Emile Hirsch can't save this sexually immature mishmash. Jeanne agrees. 2 ticket stubs from both of us.
That wraps it up for this scintillating edition of The Real Review.
Yes, it was scintillating. I'm Tim Sika.
And I'm Jeanne Aufmuth. See you next time.
Bye-bye.